it is also possible to have different types of publications like plays, multimedia magazines, novels, short stories and so on through e-publishing or online publishing. Anyone, if you want to access any of the websites, so you need to have internet connectivity, that is a technological dependency. Dear students, welcome to B.Ca classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Students, in this session, we are going to discuss about the topic e-publication and its tools and simulations. These are the topics to be discussed in this session. Now let us start with electronic publishing or e-publishing. And most of you have heard the word publishing. So you might have heard publishing a book, publishing a journal, publishing a newspaper. So what is the meaning of publishing here? In general, the publishing is the term we are using it to share the information in public or for different types of users. So different types of information can be shared through publications with different types of people. So here, if I talk about electronic publishing, so what is electronic publishing? Here it is defined as non-print material that is produced digitally. So this is a definition of e-publishing or electronic publishing, means through electronic computers or computers, as it is electronic device, it is referred as electronic publishing or e-publishing. So generally it is a non-print material. Now if you talk about a book or if you talk about a newspaper, it is printed material. So but if you talk about digital data or digital publishing, it is a non-print material. And it is an encompassing the term for variety of digitally produced materials. So here all the informations or materials are produced or generated digitally. So here such as bulletin boards, news groups, mailing lists, CD-ROM based media and even websites. Even website is also a type of publication where users or any users can access different types of information electronically, or digital data can be shared through e-publishing. So this is the definition of e-publishing or electronic publishing. In the next slide, this digital or online publishing, it is a practice by which the people use online tools for write, organize, edit, or different kinds of readable media on the internet. And here, if we want to access e-publications or electronically available data, we have to make use of internet. So through internet, it is possible to access these published data or electronically published data. So here, it is an online publishing tool where users can make use of online tools for different operations like write, organize, edit, and so on. Now, it includes online publishing. It includes non-fiction resources, fictional novels, short stories, plays, and multimedia magazines. See, these are all examples for e-publications. I mean, or in other words, we can say it is also possible to have different types of publications like plays, multimedia magazines, novels, short stories, and so on through e-publishing or online publishing. Electronic publishing components. See, what are the components required or what are the components involving in e-publishing? See, first we talk about, first one is a server or is a physical component. So it is a physical component or nothing but a computer where it is a server computer where your data or information has to be loaded so that anyone can access through internet. So first component here is a server that hosts your website or nothing but your information in the form of website, and which run continuously so that to make the site available for visitors all the time. So this is the advantage of this online publication. So here, because all the informations or your information, digital information will be hosted electronically through websites, and these websites must be available to the users at any point of time. That is an advantage of e-publications. Next one is buying server for web hosting. This is another component here. Will allow you to store all the data of your website in a servers of your provider. So here one of the component is a server. Next another component is a user. Another user, one who will make use of these e-publications. So here once the user enters your domain name into their browser's address bar, the web host server will transfer all the files necessary to load your website. See, this is how this web hosting or the information in the website will be available to the user. So here, once any user log into a particular website, so through a computer, so all the data of particular site will be downloaded or transferred to a client system or the user machine for his use. So this is the one of the component of a e-publication. Now let us see what are the scope of this e-publications. Now we can compare this with ordinary printed material or printed publications with e-publications. So here, while some sectors face budget constraints and the long-term outlook for e-book publishing, market remains positive as business recognize the need of efficient, technology-driven and procurement solution. So this is the scope of e-publication. Next, what are the benefits of e-publications? As we know that one is accessibility. So here digital data or content can be accessed anytime, anywhere on a variety of devices. So nowadays it is possible for us to get into any of the website through different types of devices at different locations. If I say devices, variety of devices, maybe in the form of mobile, maybe in the form of laptop, or maybe in the form of desktop. So with the variety of devices, information can be accessible. Second one is cost efficiency. So here it eliminates cost associated with printing, distribution and storage. See, if you talk about publishing, you take example of a newspaper, that is printed material. That newspaper, it requires the process like printing and distribution and storage. So these concepts are missing in e-publication. That is one of the advantages of e-publication. Next one is interactivity. So here offers dynamic content like videos, animation and interactive and infographics. So this is also possible to access different types of video, and it is a multimedia content and so on with the different animations. All these are possible to access through electronic publication. Now, real-time updates. The meaning is the content can be updated in a real time, ensuring accuracy and relevance. I think this one you might have come across in many of your day-to-day activities. See, if you log in, if you check for any of the update, it will be updated immediately or instantly with respect to e-publications or with respect to the resources or the data. And next one is eco-friendly. So here it reduces the environmental impact also of the paper production and waste. So this is a general factor. If you want to, for newspaper publishing, if you take an example of a newspaper, it requires paper production and also paper waste. So all these are all these are not available with respect to e-publications. Next one is, what are the limitations of digital limitations, or what are the limitations of e-publishing or digital data or digital resources? So here one is tech dependency. It requires devices and often internet connectivity. So this is important. See, anyone, if you want to access any of the websites, so you need to have internet connectivity. That is a technological dependency for your e-publications, because it is also a type of website, or through internet it is possible to access different types of information. So one is tech dependency. Next one is a digital fatigue. So meaning here is prolonged screen time can lead to eye strain and fatigue. So this is the common problem we can see nowadays with the people or the users who can work with the computers for a long time. So it may cause us different types of diseases which individually. That is another drawback of this e-publications or digital resources. Second is data privacy concern. So digital platform can raise concern about data collection and privacy. So this is another drawback of it or limitations. Now let us see best digital publishing platform. So what are different types of softwares available for e-publications or electronic publications? See, these are all different softwares or different platforms can be made use of for e-publications. Now let us move on to next concept, that is simulation. See, what is simulation? So simulation is a concept where we are going to imitate one of the process. It may be in different fields. Now let us see what is it exactly. So it imitates, means it's going to copy the operations of real world process or system with the use of models. So here we are going to copy it, or we say imitates the real world process with the use of different models. So this is the simulation. So the model represents key behaviors and characteristics of selected process or systems, while the simulation represents how the model evolve under different conditions over time. So with the help of real simulation, as the simulations are using or can be used in different fields. So what's the advantage of this? So it is going to, or we can understand the behavior and characteristics of a selected process or a system, because simulation is nothing but is going to imitate a real world process or a system. So with the help of this, it is possible to analyze or research the behavior and characteristics of any of the system or any of the process. A simulation system, it includes discrete event simulation, process simulation, and dynamic simulation. These are all different types of simulation. So generally, it is a model. It is a model that mimics the operation of an existing or proposed system. It is also possible to simulate the existing system or propose any system or proposed process or any project. So this is simulation. Now how it actually works, simulation? See, it works through the use of intuitive simulation software. So we are using a software to create visual mock-up of process. So here it can be done by using a separate software, simulation software, for creating visually affected documents or information. So visual simulation should include the details of timing, rules, resources, constraints, and reflect the real world process. See, this is how the simulation works. What are the advantage of simulation here? One is less financial risk. So here it is a less expensive than real life experiment. So what is the meaning of simulation? See, instead of directly we are working with the real time process, so better to have simulations before we going for real time experience or real time process or real time testing. That is the advantage of this, and it's a less financial risk. And potential cost of testing theories of real world systems, it include those associated with changing an unintended process, hiring staff, even buying new equipment, and it allows you to test theories and avoid costly mistakes in real life. Whenever you go for testing a real-time process, it requires what? It requires hiring a staff. This is one of the process. So we have to hire a staff for testing purpose, and also buying new equipment for testing the software or maybe testing any sorts of applications or a process. And it allow you to test theories and avoid costly mistakes in the real life. So this advantage of that. So going to avoid costly mistakes. So if at all any mistakes are happen during the testing a real-time process, so to avoid this, we can have simulation. So we can test that through simulation software or simulation models. So we can avoid that the costly mistakes in real life process. This one is exact repeated testing. So it is possible to have allow you to test different theories and innovations time after time against the exact time circumstances. So with the help of this, it is possible to test with the different parameters or different theories, different models based on a particular subject. So this is possible to have repeated tests with different values or parameters. And it can be, so this means you can thoroughly test and compare different ideas without deviation. So this is the advantage of simulation. So we can repeat the same process with simulator again and again with a different parameter with respect to different applications or process. So we can thoroughly test any types of process. Next one is gain insights for process improvement. So another advantage of that, by simulation, improvements can be integrated throughout an entire process by testing different theories. So it is possible to gain insights of a process. So once the process has been developed, when you go for testing a process, so we can get into the insights of all the process, and there are chances of improving or improvements in that particular process. That is an advantage of simulation. Next one is test non-standard distributions. Can take an account of changing and non-standard distributions rather than having to repeat only set of parameters. It is possible to have different types of environment or different types of process. It may be a standard or non-standard process, like example supermarket. So it is possible to simulate, or we can simulate different types of processing system at different fields. In the next slide, encourages in-depth thinking. So here, by thinking in depth about a process or procedure, it is possible to come up with solutions or innovations without even using the final simulation. So this simulation is going to encourage in-depth thinking about a project or a process. Next, limitations. See, what are the limitations of simulations? Here, limitation when it comes to accessing actual resolvable situations as they occur. So this is the only one limitation of simulations. Next, we will see what are different types of simulations. One is discrete event simulation. Example here are modeling a system as it progresses through the time. So factory operations is an example for discrete event. For example, stamping, turning, milling, all these are example for discrete event simulation. And traffic analysis. This is discrete event simulations. Next one is dynamic simulations. Here, machine kinematics, human ergonomics, aerodynamic testing, and virtual prototyping. These are all examples for dynamic simulations. And third one is process simulation. Here, in service product modeling, in manufacture product modeling, and weather forecasting. All are examples for process simulation. Now let us see some of the examples for simulation or where we can use simulations. So first one is automotive, in the field of automotive. So simulation allow the characteristics of a real vehicle to be replicated in virtual environment so that the driver feels as they are sitting in a real car. So this is an automotive simulation. So any of the vehicle, it can be simulated so that the driver, he can feel that he is driving a real vehicle or a real car. One of the example is automotive. Next one is biomechanics. So if you look at biomechanics, it's going to create models of human or animal anatomical structure in order to study their functions and designing medical treatment and devices. This is also very important in the field of biomechanics, where we are using simulation to know the structure of maybe human or animal anatomical structure for treatment different types of diseases. So this is biomechanics, another example. Next one is disaster preparation. Disaster preparation. So simulations can replicate emergency situations to help without disaster preparedness. So this include training and designing responses to events such as natural disaster, pandemic, and terrorist attack. So this is disaster preparation. Next one is economics and finance. This is another example for simulations. Next one is engineering system. Here it is widely used for engineering systems to imitate operations and functions of equipment, process and procedure in the field of engineering system. Next one is in the field of sports. Statistics are widely used as part of sports simulation to predict the outcome of the events and performance of individual sportsmen. So this is another example, dear students. So far we have discussed about the e-publication and e-publication tools and simulations, and we have seen different examples where we can use simulations. In the next class, we are going to discuss about virtual reality applications. Thank you very much.